At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. Thank God it's Friday. And for that matter, thank God it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it'll be Saturday and Sunday. But enough of that. Serious matters to be discussed, as always. In fact, yet another defendant slumps in court. You know, how serious is that? I'm talking about Mr. Abdul Razak. The report was all over the place that he slumped in court. And Nigerians are beginning to get used to what should I call it, a spectacle? I don't know, but it's strange. You don't hear about this in other climes, but in Nigeria, if you're not careful, it won't be news anymore. Well, it is Mr. Mena, who has slumped in court, former chair of the defunct Pension Reform Task Team. He collapsed before the trial judge Okon Abang of the Federal High Court in Abuja yesterday. My guest this morning is Dr. Luke Onyekekeya. He's a member of the editorial board of the Guardian newspaper. Great to have you again, Luke.
Thank you, Uncle.
Indeed, very welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
I don't know how you... Well, first of all, the news is that Mena slumps in court. What does slumping mean? Okay, let's go. Well, no medical person here between the two of us. He fainted, and I have heard a medical doctor say that anybody could faint in certain circumstances. That it is actually possible. This was when I was saying that. Isn't this some sort of a ruse? So I was cautioned that, no, you don't know that. Medically, anybody can slump. So now let me ask you, Luke, you are out there in the area of commentary. I remember Fayose, in terms of fainting veterans, I remember Fayose, I remember Dino Melaye, I remember Professor Pondei, maybe there are some other ones. What's with this sort of rash of faintings in court, or when you're being investigated? In the case of Pondei, he didn't get to court. It was at the National Assembly that he fainted, and all sorts of people were putting their hands in his mouth to try and help him. But now we have the very latest in terms of the fainters. What do you think, Luke?
Thank you very much. You see, we are in Nigeria, and I remember one occasion I wrote in the newspaper, in my column, that we have come to a stage where in Nigeria is one day, one trouble. One day, one news. So this, what I may call episodic fainting of important people in Nigeria, and all of them in one way or the other is involved in corruption allegation.
Yes, yes.
That's the common denominator.
Okay.
For all of them.
Okay, yeah.
So
when you're charged with corruption,
yes,
or some other serious offense like
yes,
that.
Then they start fainting. But after the episodes, they recover. Because none of those people, you mentioned some of them earlier, none of them has degenerated from that point.
No. And
so on.
Yeah.
All of them, after that incident,
yes,
they recover.
Yes.
And they become one of us again. And life continues.
And their investigation, interrogation, or whatever is suspended as a result of that, shall we say, unfortunate circumstance.
Yes. So, which means the purpose of the fainting or collapsing or slumping, yes, is to frustrate the investigation.
Oh,
so
can one jump to that conclusion? Since I said, having checked with a medical person who said, and I'm just being on the neutral, that, yes, it's actually possible. Might it have been a serendipitous coincidence?
Yeah, we can say it's coincidence, but why is it recurring and recurring and recurring?
And those variables are always present. It's when you're being investigated.
Yes, and it's people that are involved in corruption allegations.
Yes. They suddenly faint.
All of them, they suddenly faint. So, in a way, for me, it doesn't make news anymore. If I hear that yesterday I heard that Abdul Rashid Minor fainted, it didn't shock me
anymore.
It didn't shock me at all. I took it that, well, that is one of the strategies that are being applied these days for whatever purpose. So it's getting to a point it's not going to be news anymore.
Yeah, but in terms of our reputation, and let's leave the jocular side of it for the moment.
Yeah.
The world has become a village. We are being seen everywhere in the world. Who cares? Anybody who cares to just read Nigerian newspapers, tune into Nigerian television from anywhere in the world, sees this. What does this do for our reputation? Because you just said that having been interrupted, the process, whatever it was, having been interrupted, you hardly hear of a resumption of those processes. And as you said, we just carry on our merry way, forget about it, and aren't the people, we the people, being taken for granted when you're asked to come and account for something that is not clear, that has to do with corruption? You promptly faint.
Yeah, you know, like as you said, you know, Nigeria has a stamp of being a corrupt country. That's the stamp we have as a country, as a nation.
Unfortunately.
That's unfortunate. So, people out there in the world, from any part of the world, reading these things will not be surprised.
Oh dear.
They won't be surprised.
Oh dear.
You know. So, then the fact that these guys who faint, the investigation kind of dies down from that point. Okay. Dies down. And then the people who fainted don't get degenerated from that point. After the investigation slumps, goes down, they become okay once again, and they start living like us. But the case is, you know, kind of put in the
on hold, so to speak.
On hold. And we know in Nigeria, all these people are important people. It's unfortunate. I doubt if any of these cases, the long list of people who have, you know, fainted like this,
in circumstances,
whether any of them can eventually there can be justice on any of them. That is the problem.
Because it's become something of a phenomenon is why I wanted someone like you, you know, because you write pieces, you comment on these things, you write editorials. What does this? The people are being taken for granted. Certainly the justice system is being taken for granted. So that now, because of all these things, I can imagine, God forbid, if I ever were in a situation like that. Now, one way out of it, to buy time, I might think, without necessarily commenting on the present case, is go there and faint. You know, you faint, they will have to suspend proceedings, and as you said, somehow or the other, we don't go back to where we were before all of this started. It's an abuse of the court processes, I would imagine. That you found a way, apart from the law, to suspend, because your lawyer would have had to apply for, you know, some suspension, some whatever. Now, don't cut through all of that. Just faint there. They bring in a stretcher. The judge, you know, the honorable judge knows that I can't proceed with this anymore.
Sure. What we're experiencing is very, very unfortunate. You know, this stamp of being a corrupt country, you know, keeps resounding, keeps resonating here every day and every time in government. So the point is not only the judiciary that is taken for granted, Nigerians are taken for granted.
Okay.
And it is that taking for granted that is the major cause of, or is the major reason why all these people who are involved in all these corruption allegations is because they know that at the end of the day, nothing will come out of, if I steal 10 billion, nothing will come out of it. That is why these things are, keep coming up every now and then. Anybody who finds himself in any government position, sees it as an opportunity to, steal from the common till. So we are all taken for granted. And then they now devise this drama of fainting and collapsing to further frustrate, if there could have been justice.
Exactly.
That's the point.
So we're not really moving. But let me hear from Chidi in Kafanchan. Good morning, Chidi.
Good morning, Uncle. Thank God it's Friday.
Indeed, thank God it's Friday.
Yes. Good morning, your guest.
Dr. Luke.
Thank you for having me in this program. I want to contribute to the discourse.
Sure.
As a matter of fact, the fainting syndrome in the trials of some high-profile politicians is becoming a faint kind of situation. Actually, fainting could be as a result of some factors. It could be as a result of the health condition of the person standing trial. And the second reason that could cause one to faint is when such a person is facing a crowd that ordinarily he or she has not been engaged or interfaced in the past.
Okay.
But in this kind of situation, there are tendencies which suggest that some of these persons that are so centered in the past is as a result of the gravity of the alleged offenses that they are enmeshed in. But however, it is rather unfortunate that Nigeria is seeing itself as this kind of crossroads. May God deliver Nigeria.
Amen.
Thank you very much and have a blessed weekend.
Thank you very much indeed, Chidi. But Chidi brought something out there. I said it, that a doctor had said to me that, it might well be a ruse. Nobody's commenting on that. But it is possible for a person to faint. For a person to faint. Why was I going up north? I meant to say for a person to faint.
Okay.
But, underlying conditions. God knows what the underlying conditions are. Don't forget that Mr. Abdul Razak has pleaded not guilty. First of all, to all these serious charges of money laundering, etc., that have been leveled against him. Now he's gone and fainted. I wish we could speak with his doctor, who would then tell us whether it was a ruse or it was a genuine faint. But we're just trying to look at this. It's a bit annoying, quite frankly, because, as we've said, other people have fainted before. As soon as you find yourself in a tight legal corner, fainting is the way, because you probably feel very much a bit like a trailer who has gone down a one-way street. How are you now going to come out of that? It's very, very difficult, so people faint is one theory. But Mr. Yakub, how do you see it, sir?
Good morning, first and foremost.
Good morning.
And then good morning to your guest.
Dr. Luke here.
Good morning.
Dr. Luke. We are just a livable country. I totally agree with your guest this morning. Out of all those people that perfect slump practicing, from the people that you mentioned earlier,
yes,
up to Maina,
yes,
tell me one of them that at the end of the day, he finally end in jail. None. Even though they give them some kind of 6-month day, they will still say play bargain. Play bargain is still in our constitution today. You still almost 20 billion. You now play bargain. You take part of the money if I'm correct. So, in a nutshell, I can tell you all this slum of a thing. It is a practicing of those defense lawyers. They are practicalize it before they get to court. They will tell their client what to do in order for them to be able to slow down the prosecution.
Mr. Yakub, slow down a bit, sir. Slow down, because this thing you are accusing lawyers of. I'm not there. You are alone. No? Lawyers don't. That is not part of the law.
Let me tell you. Are you not in this country? Let me even ask you a question.
Okay.
Are you not in this country?
I am here.
That a lawyer that would not like to mention his name come on public on television, telling Nigerians that I've defeated EFCC first time, second time, third time, first time. A lawyer boasts that. Why he boasts that is that he makes sure they manage to tell his client what to do when they get to court. It is usually until our judge, whether you slump or you not slump, following day they should bring you on a wheelchair to come and answer to, okay, what happened to those baba that hold the money? Some of them have already died. They are no more. They have died. And then the people, some of them that live, what do you think that they will be thinking of? That the person that eat our money is slumped. And then if he slumped, is he waking up or he from slumping and then he go away?
Yeah.
Just like other people that hold the money die.
Yeah.
So usually our judge needs to take the bull by the horn.
Indeed.
If you slump, the following day they must bring you back to the court. On the wheelchair, you have to answer. Pension money, usually those about suffer for that money. And then you hit their money, you are not, you slump and then you come back alive.
All right.
I beg, leave me. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Yakub, and thank you very much. He says our judges, and I tend to agree with him, they have to stop standing for this kind of behavior.
Uncle Yori, let me tell you, you see, each time we talk about corruption in this country and how it is being treated or handled, my mind goes back to, say, China.
Okay.
Me, I lived and worked in Japan. Mm-hmm. My mind goes back there. Mm-hmm. How do they treat this kind of thing?
Okay.
I mean, corruption can be anywhere.
Yes.
How are the other countries handling these matters? Why are their own people not fainting or collapsing? You know? So, please, one major reason why these things are happening, you know, people are being given chance to devise a drama they were going to play out there in the court.
Yes.
Now, if there is no chance to do that, nobody will collapse.
You're right.
So what I'm trying to say is, there is a long delay in, you know, giving justice in this country. This minor issue started since 2012.
And here we are.
The
action of yesterday has even prolonged it a bit more now.
8 years.
Let me take Mr. George, who has come on the line. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, Jerry, permit me to agree with Yakub.
Sure.
Let me give you an example. Former Minister of Petroleum, when she was being tried or we were trying to extradite her to Nigeria, she claimed to have cancer. And after that, since how many years now? Doesn't the cancer degenerate? But in spite of that, the judiciary in the UK did not, she was still being called to question because the cancer could not be proven in court. I am also of the view, like Yakub, that it is a corruption fight-back strategy. The culprits in the game are the lawyers, the judges, the prosecutors, all round. Why is it that after they have collapsed, nothing happens again? Uncle, you look at the one that happened at the National Assembly.
Yes.
When the NDDC person collapsed.
I remember that one. Off
why
your mind.
Was it not?
It's
why
okay.
didn't the committee reconvene after?
Yeah.
And what has happened to the man up till now? He's still walking the street. Nothing happened to him. One would have expected that after that incident, they will recall him back to that committee to come and testify. And that case has died.
Yeah.
A number of cases. So it's just a corruption fight-back strategy. And the culprits and participants are known.
All right.
If the government wants to fight corruption, they should not, they should look into things like this, not incarcerating and doing what I call fetish trial of the person who is championing the cause of corruption fight. Good morning.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. George. He referred there last to Professor Ponde, who fainted in the National Assembly, amidst shouts of "off your mic, off your mic, it's enough," you know. Honorable.
Sure. You know, we started on the premise that anybody could faint.
Yes.
Now, if based on medical, medical knowledge, anybody could faint.
Especially if there are underlying conditions.
Which means this thing is, let's assume, is a medical condition. So if somebody has fainted or has collapsed, then there should be medical doctors from both sides, government, to look at the person and be able to tell us, oh, this person can continue with this case tomorrow or not.
Exactly. Like in boxing matches.
Yes, it's like a boxing match
where there are doctors who can tell
somebody is
if you can continue or
and
not.
And the referee is saying 1, 2, 3, 4, and then along the line the person tries to get up again and continue. If it gets to a point where he can't do, he goes and sits down, and the doctors come and examine him, the match doesn't stop there.
You are saying our people need to begin to think along those lines. Since these fainting spells have become an epidemic.
There should be medical doctors in the court to handle cases of fainting in the court.
Because they say the bird that learns to fly without perching. The hunter must learn to
how to shoot without missing.
Yes. Mazi Okorafo, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Sayori. Good morning, Dr. Luke.
Thank you.
Mr. Yodisi, what we see every day is Nollywood show on our system. Every day, anytime we hear all these type of cases of corruption in the court, we see Nollywood show.
In such a serious place as a court of Nigeria.
Is it not high time for the judiciary to arrange with the Federal Ministry of Health? Any ambulance case like this, they should bring their ambulance and doctor and keep them. Before the suspect will enter the court, the doctor will do what? Examine the person before he enters the court. It will help us because what we are seeing now is just a film show. Now, at the end of the day, Mr. Yodi, we have to face reality. The judges in Nigeria, the judiciary, they have to be very, very careful because the issue at stake is this. This is money that belongs to Nigerians, the pensioners. And the families have been suffering right for the past 8 years, 10 years, 9 years, and nothing has happened. And every day when they come to court, there will be a show. Now, the judiciary, the lawyers, well, if it's a drama show, they have already arranged the show, practice the film, the show before coming to the court. But the question is, no matter what everybody does in this country, you must repeat. All vanity, all upon vanities. Look, the judges have to be very careful and the lawyers. Why am I saying this? And whosoever that carries public money to disappear, the courts are waiting. If you are not getting the court now, your generation will face it. That is why when you come today, you see that a sort of problem happening in different families. These are high blood pressure because of what the third generation. These are what the parents or the guardians generated for the children for the future. But the thing is this: whatever the judge have to do, they should tell minors to bring back the money, whether it's a suspect or awaiting trial or not awaiting trial. If they don't bring back the money, what we say we are showing on film show every day in the court. Now you ask yourself, whether we bring China or bring America, it does not solve Nigeria. What we want is let them bring back. If you want to bring the money half, so that the people can collect part of their pension, it will help us. Doing this film show does not help us. You see, we destroy our image, we destroy our integrity.
Mazi, we got you. We got you, Mazi. We got you, sir. Interesting suggestion that, look, if we're going to be serious about this, and since we want to do our best to be as democratic, follow the rule of law and all of that, okay, such being the case, if defendants are now going to start fainting as a way to escape hard lines of questioning, perhaps it's not too preposterous an idea to have medical doctors in court who will certify a person fit to stand trial.
Good. That's what I said earlier.
Yes.
We should arrange to have medical doctors in court, just as medical doctors stay at the ring when there's boxing bout going on, to handle any case of fainting or whatever.
Yeah.
So we should have the same thing.
Because it's getting to be a serious problem.
Because it is now a strategy to escape or frustrate whatever.
Because look at Mr. Maina, Mr. Abdul Rashid Maina. He jumped bail, put a sitting senator in trouble. Interpol, Nigeria police, and all those people had to combine efforts to indeed bring him back. There's nothing we didn't hear. We don't know how much of it is true.
Yeah.
The man stopped using a GSM phone, started using a satellite phone in order to evade triangulation and all of that. And then when we finally now bring him back, And in no small measure, I imagine the senator who stood bail for him. In Dume. It was locking in Dume up that must have...
It was locked for 2 days.
Yes, that must have, really done the trick. Now, you finally arrive. You still refuse to speak by fainting. So we've not heard from you. So we're very much in terms of proceeding with this in a judicial way, we're still very much where we were when the man was at large. He's not saying anything.
He has not.
Well, we're going to have to leave this for now. I want to thank you very much, Luke, Dr. Luke Onyekeke, member of the editorial board of the Guardian newspaper. And I like your idea. It's been, doubled by someone from home. Maybe we need to begin to have medical personnel in the court to first of all determine whether you are fit to stand trial. And I haven't been so determined. You faint anyhow like that. Revive him.
Yeah, revive him.
Revive him. Back in the day, they used to bring smelling salts. I don't know if there are still smelling salts anymore. But thank you very much, Luke.
Thank you very much.
Indeed. So stay with us, please. We'll take a break. We'll come back and look at the whole COVID-19 pandemic and how we are in Nigeria. Are we specially blessed of God? We are unscathed. Countries around the world are saying that they are gearing up for the next wave. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back.